Two blood brothers.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of any others that's happened to before, is it? Apart from the Fergusons.
Fergusons.
Were they
not at the same time? No.
No, they'd be slightly apart. That's the only two I could think of that came to mind anyway.
It
looks like a no bad team. He's got enough experience and first team players in there to keep the stability of the team, and added a few fringe players and young players there to give them time and experience in the first team, which is exactly what we're after. We've got, let's say, Flanagan at right back. That's to be expected. Katic and Worrell, I'm surprised that I would expect it. I was going for Goldson and Worrell. Halliday at left back. Well, Barisic has been out injured, so I guess Andy, there's not that much of a surprise. McCrory, Dorrans and Ajaria, that's the three that I chose for my midfield. And I was surprised he's playing Kent. I thought he might play our new signings Grayster, but apparently he's not even in the pool. Oh no, he's on the bench there. So it's quite a surprise. I thought, I think Kent will just get a wee while, and probably Grayster will come on and get at least half an hour, probably more.
I think I like what he's done, mate. I would have went with Katic and Worrell to use a tone that he used about Katic. I think Goldson looks leggy on Sunday, mate. So let him have a wee sit out. Andy left back, but then Flanagan at right gives Tav, who's became a key player for us. Bit of time. The midfield, Dorrans, McCrory, Ajaria and Dorrans, minutes in the legs. They played a bit on Sunday, so good to get them up to speed. McCrory never lets you down. In the front three, I'm happy with that, mate.
As much as they've got more than enough, that should get us through, as I see it, that's for sure. So it says a couple of... see, Lee Wallace is back in the bench. That's quite interesting. He should get a few minutes tonight.
Lee Wallace, obviously, Robbie McCrory, Connor Golson, Jordan Rossiter, Kelly, the young boy Stephen Kelly, Grezda and Arfield. So we'll get a mixture on the bench. Robbie McCrory, young boy Kelly, and then you've got the 4 first teamers there, and obviously the new signing, which we've not seen a lot of.
And there's rumour they had a couple other lads in the first team squad. They've not actually made the team with the subs, but they've had young Jack Thompson and Cameron Palmer around the first team squad this week as well. So that's more coming through from the youth, which, as you know, I'm always a fan for. It saves us a fortune in the long run if we can develop the players rather than go out into the marketplace and buy them.
Big game for the boy Middleton tonight. Obviously, there's been a clamour to see him play for the start. Would you say that's fair, mate? A clamour, would that be the right adjective? If it is an adjective?
I think it's clamour's perhaps a little bit strong, but there's been quite a few people been keen to see him come on from the start. I think Rudy Bear's been making enough boys to create a clamour within our panel, but apart from that, I think it's a lot of people would welcome to see him start, to see what he's got.
He's always making noise when he's hungry. When he's full up, he's fine,
He just sits in the corner and have a wee snooze, does he?
Do you think the talk will be more about the subs than the team, mate? Because the team, you can understand what he's done. The substitutes, good to see Rosa or Grezda, Lee Wallace, People will be talking about the subs.
I think there will be a lot of conversation about the subs, and especially young Robbie McCrory getting in over the top of Jack Anwick. That's quite a surprise.
We can't play Jack. He's no longer with the club, mate, at the moment.
He's out on loan, is he? Right. Well, that's it. So, it's bringing in Robbie. That's good first team experience for him because he's 18 now, 19, something like that. So he's getting of that age where he might be looking for a second, perhaps not a first team's position, but certainly backup or something like that.
That's a strange one, that number 2, mate, isn't it? In the modern football, the goalkeeper. If you're a number 2. You'll not play a lot of games, will you?
No, you're not going to play a lot of games. And as I said, for me, if it had been, far be it, there's people at Ibrox know a lot more about football than me, but I would have got rid of Bodanik and Fotheringham and held on to that young Liam Kelly, because apparently he's been putting in some cracking performances across at Livingston. So that perhaps for me was one of the wee mistakes he made over the summer. But the guy wants first team football. He might have said he wanted to play rather than be McGregor's understudy. That might be come from the lad himself.
Oh, you never know, because I would imagine he would have took a pay cut to go there.
You would have thought so, but it's also great. As long as the lad can keep fit, for God's sake, it's great to see Jordan Rossiter back, because every time he's actually played for us, he's played well. It's just he's been injured immediately after. So I'm just hoping that he stays fit for us.
Aye, people want to join us. What's the number, Blue?
It's 0141 356 1972.
Or you can join us at Skype at rangersradio.online, where you were brought into the call. Give your thoughts on today's team and maybe on how you think the match will go. So, for me, 4-3-3, mate, for you?
It's a standard formation.
Yeah.
Standard formation. And I'm really looking forward to see if that Grezda's got what that Eris Grez does. He's had a couple of games in the reserves now. Hopefully he's a wee bit further forward. All he showed us last time was a couple of nice touches, but he only had a few minutes, to be fair to the lad. So I'm wanting to see what we've got from him. I don't know about yourself.
Half an hour? Would that do you? Half an hour? Slowly build him up.
He's had 20. He had 15, 20 minutes the last time, didn't he? And he's had a couple of matches since then. So I'd be looking closer to the full half for me, as long as the match is going our way.
Aye, I'd be interested. And obviously Morella's playing, who for me was man of the match on Sunday, mate. He was a catalyst for the good performance. I wouldn't say he was the best player on the pitch the second half, but over the piece I gave him man of the match.
I thought he was man of the match as well. As I said on the show, this is the side of Morelos that we want to see. I think he had at least 2 layoffs, and he got a goal himself. He set 2 up and scored 1 himself. So that's just what we want to see from him. And it's interesting to see that Sadiq hasn't even made the bench.
I think we have to just put Sadiq down as a youth player, mate, that we've took a punt on. It doesn't look as if it's going to work.
Sadly, it does look. I mean, he's been here a couple of months now, and if he can't make even the bench against, no disrespect meant to here, but they're a championship side, so even if they're top of the championship, so if he can't even make the bench for that, it doesn't bode well for the lad, does it?
No, but what I will say is, if it doesn't work out, you shake hands, you move on. But the recruitment's still been excellent, mate.
I mean, with the amount of players we brought in, to have one player that didn't work, that's not just good. That's phenomenal. I think that's set of a hell of a precedent there. And I just hope that the rest of the Bears are not expecting them to live up to that sort of standard every transfer window. I hope we can, but I'll be surprised if we can.
If they do, mate, I reckon in 4 years' time we'll win the Champions League.
Well, so, as I said now, I mean, it's, if you look at that bench now, and if we can get all those players back as well, it means I said on the last match day, we've got a squad now that means we don't have to go out and accept rubbish. We can just go forward with what we've got. When we go out and transfer players now, they've got to be real quality, and they've got to be better than what we've got in the squad already, and that's a significant standard for me.
You're looking for improvement. It might be 2 players you bring in, but they might be better than what you've got, and that's how you build a successful team. You're not going to go out and buy 8 and 9 players every year, mate. It's not going to work.
No, and there's no way we can afford to do that every year. To be honest with you, and also increase the quality of what we've got in the squad, because we'll be looking to spend. Well, perhaps we need I think most people wouldn't argue with the fact that we need another striker, another quality striker, and that's going to cost us several £1 million. So it might be, if we might just go out and sign 1 player, with the price of strikers these days for a decent striker.
Aye, well, you never know. The option might be in front of you tonight, mate. Well, in the opposition, you never know.
Aye. Oh yeah, there's been a bit of talk about that young lad on several of the forums, isn't there? I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Shanklin.
That's it. So
Lawrence Shanklin.
Shanklin, is it? Right.
No.
So, I mean, is he supposed to be? He's been banging them in the championship, but then again, so was Nicky Clark. So, it all depends whether he's got it within him to move up to that level. Admittedly, though, Nicky Clark wasn't playing in a team like ours, and we have now, rather than the team that he played with at that time, and the managers he played under at that time perhaps didn't get the best out of him. But he doesn't seem to have managed to retain that form before he came to us when he moved back down again. So it would suggest that the lad just didn't have it, unfortunately, to fill a Rangers jersey.
But I mean, obviously, Bridge has got a different view. If the price is right and you're having a go at somebody having a punt, you don't know how it's going to turn out. If he wants to come and you pay X amount, 100,000, it's a gamble, but you don't know where it's going to take you, mate.
Every transfer is a gamble. You could pay out 20 million for a player and him no work for you. Money's no guarantee of success. I mean, good grief, how many players have we seen come into the Premiership with fantastic reputations and even bit more fantastic sums paid for them, and they've just been absolute rubbish. And
Big Pogba setting the header on fire at Man United, didn't he?
I think Mo Pogba. I think not just Pogba. I always thought that was, I know it's supposed to be a Rangers forum, but I always thought that was the wrong manager. I thought they should have gone from the lad from Atletico Madrid. All right,
I'm just going to give a team for people listening. It's Foderingham in goals. Flanagan. Chinese boy, I think. Flanagan, Katic, Worrell and Halliday. Dorrans, McCrory, Ajira, Kent, Middleton, Morales. Substitutes: Robbie McCrory, Wallace, Goulston, Rossiter, Kelly, Grezda and Arfield. I think I've got Fox's teeth in, mate. That's the team. How do you see it going, Blue?
Looking at that team, I'm saying 4-0. I think that's a sensible sort of prediction. As several people be looking for more, a few others be probably predicted a bit less. But this Ayr team, McCall seems to have got them playing by all accounts. I haven't seen them personally myself, but I've seen a few reports on them, and they're doing great things down in the Championship. McCall's got them really going, and from where they were, that's a fantastic job that the boys done.
He's been about for a long time. He's quite an experienced manager.
He's quite an experienced manager, and he's certainly a good, hard-working midfielder. He doesn't take no nonsense, and he's got, he's been around a few clubs now, so he's got good connections. So I think it's certainly been a fantastic signing for Ayr United, and if they continue this on like this, then they're looking for promotion, aren't they?
Well, I mean, they wouldn't have been favourites in that league at the start, would they?
No, it's pretty much the same as there's a difference that Mr. Gerrard has made coming into our team. I think it looks like Stuart McCall for them at a slight, as we said, with all respect to Ayr United, he's done the same job but at a slightly lower level and on.
Stuart, you know me, Ian McCall.
Ian McCall, sorry.
I thought you'd a scoop for me there. He's been there for a while, but he was there last year. He was either ill or injured and couldn't turn up at the cup time when we played them.
Right.
Yeah, so he's been there for a couple of seasons now, at least. So.
They're not a rich club, are they? So it's going to anything they do is going to take time. Even with the best of managers, it takes time when you haven't got any budget to work with, and it must be difficult for these smaller clubs to try and budget long term. I don't know what length of contracts they can hand out to players. If
a lot of them's years contracts, mate, aren't they?
There is
the trouble is they can't, if they get stung and give somebody a 3-year contract and he's not playing for them and he's sitting there picking up wages, these clubs can't afford it, mate.
That's it, absolutely. I mean, he can be the best player, be a fantastic player, be a great worker, and all the rest of it. It could just take one bad tackle, or even just an accident, and the guy gets a broken leg, and that's him. That's him done. And he's sitting there for 3 years picking up wages. It just, especially what spills down from the top of the Premiership, but with the rubbish TV deal that we've got in Scotland, they just can't afford it. It's pretty much peanuts, and there's not that many people turning up on a weekly basis, is there?
Well, your club, mate, I think there'll be at least 35,000 the night, which was one of the top attendances at this tournament for a long, long time.
I mean, it's not even semi-final. I mean, what was it, quarterfinals tonight? So, and as you said, Stephen Gerrard's just lit a fire, isn't he, under the crowd? And as you would expect from the Rangers faithful, they've responded with. I was reading some figures. I can't actually remember them off the top of my head. But even the sales of shirts so far, and it's just gone absolutely mental. And it's not even the start of the season.
I'm raging, mate. They ran out of mediums for me and Jimmy the Stickman. Raging, mate. Ran out. They were the first sizes to go.
But you wanted half a dozen each, didn't you?
Maybe, at least.
I can't say too much myself. Like I've got at least an odd pound or two in the past few years. That's
what happens when athletes stop training. So, if you want to give us a call, give us a comment on the team, it's 0141 356 1972, or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. I'll read out the substitutes first, Blood. Get your comment and name first, and then I'll give people that's listening to the team. The substitutes this evening: Robbie McCrory, Wallace, Goulston, Rossiter, Kelly, Stephen Kelly, that is, Gregster, and Arfield.
I mean, it's a good, it's a decent bet. It's not full of well-known first-teamers, but it's a decent bench. I mean, Robbie McCrory, even if he has to come on, I mean, he was being touted even by clubs like Chelsea, and that said Chelsea and Man United had sent scouts up to look at him before we managed to tie him down to a contract, him and his brother down to a contract. So that's a great one. Connor Goldson's on there in case there's a bit of experience needed. Lee Wallace, we'll see him tonight at some point, and we'll see what Lee's got. He's playing against, playing with a better team. Jordan Rossiter, classy player. If only the laddie can stay fit. Every time I've seen him, I've thought, you look at him and he just drips quality, and I just wish he could stay fit. Stephen Kelly, he's been getting fantastic notices from the youth player, and he was part of that team that beat the Bayern Munich youth team 2-1. Eros Grezda, no longer with the club, getting fitter by all accounts, so it'll be great to see what we get from him. And Scotty Arfield, I always thought was a great signing right from the start of the season.
Do you know, if I'm being honest, mate, I've had my doubts about Arfield, but he hasn't impressed me. But in the second half on Sunday, I thought it was absolutely superb.
Well, as I said, I've always thought it would be ideal on the left side of a midfield three. For me, he's got a good engine. He can get box to box, and he can score. He can score as well, as we're starting to see. Thankfully, it's taken him a wee while to bed in, and he can score all sorts of goals. He's certainly not an attacking midfielder by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a hard-working box to box midfielder that will get you goals.
Aye, what's that? He scored in the last 2 games, isn't he?
Aye, hopefully that's the start of what we're going to see from him, because he has struggled a little bit, but for me, he's a quality player and he's an excellent signing.
I I'm not saying he was poor. I'm just saying that I was just looking for a wee bit more for him, but I've got to say in the second half on Sunday, I thought he was excellent, absolutely excellent.
Perhaps taking, it just does sometimes. He's maybe the difference in Scottish football, the pace that it's 100-mile-an-hour pace that it's played at, which is different from England, and it's perhaps taken him a little bit of time to adapt to that, to give him the benefit of the doubt, do you think?
Do you know something, mate? Sometimes people can try too hard. He's maybe trying to impress too much, and he just, because he's a blue nose and he wants everything to go well, I can't say that he's no worked hard for the team. He's got around the pitch. It's just sometimes I think he's just been a little off. But it's a critique, an observation. It's no saying that he's not going to have a good season. Does that make sense?
Aye, absolutely. I mean, I'm just giving you my point. What I think perhaps might have gone wrong. Nobody knows, and probably Scotty Arfield himself doesn't know, or he'd have fixed it by now, because he doesn't strike me as a daft lad or anything. That runs around headless like some players we've had beforehand. So I think there's plenty to there's still plenty to come from him. So I'm looking forward to seeing him back. And I think that game against Villarreal has given a lot of them confidence. So I'm hoping that's.
Is that the night we became a team, mate? If that makes any sense. We've had the one away in Russia, which was immense, but was the Villarreal one the night we became a team?
I think the night. I think the night against Villarreal is the one that they thought, yeah, we've got something here, and it gave them an awful lot of belief. As I said to Trublo in the match on the St Johnstone match day, they were different. There was something different about them, and it was a confidence. It gives that sort of self-assurance that good teams have, and I think we're starting to see some of it now from the Rangers team. And it's not overconfidence, it's just a self-belief, and good sportsmen have it.
Doran's in the middle of the park, quality player. McCrory doing the work along with who else? I forgot who else. Ajara. So we've got McCrory sort of doing the, if you like, the dirty side of the game, keeping it simple, and we've got two players that can make things happen and sort of beside them.
Well, McCrory's the anchor man, isn't he? He's the one that's locking the back door, and Duran's is the pure quality. He's the one that can unlock the defences and all the rest of it. And Ajaria's more, for me, is the guy that always makes himself. He can do a bit of the graft, somewhere in between. Does a bit of the grafting, can play a bit up front, and make a decent pass, but he's also got that thing. He always makes himself available, and is good at holding on to the ball and keeping the ball, and keeps it, passes it on to someone else. It looks so simple, but it's a vital role within the team.
Getting the ball winning. I thought McCrory did an excellent game on Sunday, mate. I thought he wasn't the star of the show, but in the first half, for me, he was the best in the midfield three. We just passing it, keeping it simple, keeping us moving. Mm-hmm. Second half went to right back and looked very, very comfortable.
He looked comfortable without being exceptional for me. That would be it. I mean, he's certainly not Tavernier going forward, but then he's a lot better defensively, I would really imagine. Although that side of his game wasn't necessarily shown. But the one thing is sort of, when he was playing against Villarreal, he went diving into a challenge. I said, Ross, no, don't, because when he does that, if it goes wrong, there's no way out of it. It's like, that's it, you're off the pitch. It's like, well, he needs to learn to stop this diving in, It's sort of like, sometimes you've got to do it when it's last ditch and the guy's going to be through one-on-one with the keeper. Yeah, fair enough. But he's diving it, and that when he dove in, it was midway inside their half, and he didn't need to make the tackle for me. So that's something he has to learn.
I think the boy's got a career ahead of him, but I don't think it's at centre half personally.
The only way I can see him playing in the back line is, as I said ages ago to your good self, was at the right hand side of a back three. And he played there once before for us, and he had an absolute stormer of a game. Whether or not Steven Gerrard sees that going forward, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought so. Otherwise, why has he brought in 4 centre backs? And besides which, the 3-5-2 is a thing we'll see very, very rarely. I think it'll have to be some sort of tactical reason, or as like I think he did last time. He played the 3-5-2 in order to get to rest the wingers so they could play in Europe later on that night, so we could qualify for the group stages.
I mean, what he's done so far, you could critique after the game, you might have played this guy, that guy, but I think I read today this is our 8th game at home this season so far. 18-4-3 against, mate. If we continue that in the next 8 games at home, mate, that's championship winning form.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's great home form. And as you said, again, go back to what guys have said. What CI Brooks turned into a fortress. Well, Mr. Gerrard's doing that for us, isn't he? So I think that's going to be set. It's the formation he's got here with this 4-3-3, 4-5-1 thing. It's he's so flexible the way he plays it, and virtually all the sort of players that he's bought seem to fit that sort of formation. So why is he, I know a lot of people want to see us go 3-5-2, but with the 3-5-2, you're playing two wing backs, which will be, although we've got two fantastic wing backs in Tavernier and Barisic, why would you do that when we've got that many exciting players? I mean, Ryan Kent now's coming on to a game, and we've got Middleton that's coming on to a game. So I just can't see us go back to that, playing a 3-5-2, unless, as you say, there's some severe threat from somebody else and the manager sees that's the only way we can probably deal with it.
If it's no broke, don't fix it.
Oh, me. And as you say, as I said earlier, with the flexibility we've got in that formation anyway, with there's room to move players within that and play them deeper, or you could play too deep or whatever, to deal with teams who have a threat, like a threat with a midfielder that plays between the lines or something like that. I can't see us going back. I think this is Mr. Gerrard's formation, and a lot of people said that was Mr. Gerrard's formation before he even arrived, because he wanted to play the same sort of football that Jurgen Klopp does at Liverpool.
I'm going to make a bold prediction here, Blue.
What's that?
If the game's gone well, 3 substitutes will be Wallace for Halliday. Yep.
Absolutely, mate. I can see that happening.
Rossiter for, I'm going to say, Dorans. And Grezda, I'll come on for Kent. There you go.
Grezda for Kent. I certainly can't see any. Can't argue with that at all. I say Jordan Rossiter would certainly, if we can get him back, that would be, and to me, that would certainly liven things up in midfield, because you'd have some serious headaches. The manager would have some serious headaches then. Grezda, Scotty Arfield doesn't need any additional game time. So, yep, that fits well for me. The only other one, possibly you might give Robbie McCrory some game time, because he's not had a first team outing yet. So you might go for that, but I doubt
see it. Can't see it, but you never know.
Your ones make more sense. The formations, the substitutions you suggested would make more sense. And young Stephen Kelly there, I think he's just there for first team experience. Do you think experience and about it? Because he's getting close, the boy. Apparently, he's been doing great things in the youth squad.
Listen, we've got a wee preview for the manager, Stevie Gerrard. It's only a bit, just over a minute long, but if you want to go on mute, we'll hear for our manager, Stephen Gerrard, MBE.
got to ignore the fact that they're the league below because they're flying high, and in our opinion, Ayr are probably in a better place than some of the teams lower down in our league. They'll have more confidence, they'll have more belief, they're scoring goals, they've got nothing to lose. They're coming here to try and create a big shock. They're coming here to be the first team to try and beat us at Ibrox. So we've got to ignore the fact that they're the league below because they're flying high, and in our opinion, Ayr are probably in a better place than some of the teams lower down in our league. They'll have more confidence, they'll have more belief, they're scoring goals, they've got nothing to lose. They're coming here to try and create a big shock. They're coming here to be the first team to try and beat us at Ibrox. So they've got a lot to play for, and there's no pressure on them. So again, the responsibility and the onus is on us to make sure that we're right, we're in the right frame of mind, we've got the right attitude. And if we come in like that, I don't see us having any problems, but the test and the challenge to the players is, you know, can you get in the right frame of mind for this game, and can you go and produce again on the back of some really positive outings? Can you go and do it again and become consistent? That's the challenge.
You've been able to use the squad really well so far. Does this offer you an opportunity to maybe adjust it a little bit more?
Well, every game gives me and the staff an opportunity to do that, but what I'll always do is I'll always put strong teams out. I won't disrespect the competition or the opposition and make wholesale changes. We will have a strong team out against Ayr United, and I'll put a team out capable of winning the game. The players just have to go out and deliver.
A very quiet Steven Gerrard, Blue Shadow.
Aye, it was pretty quiet. Pretty cool. It was fine for me, but as a number of lads are complaining in the lobby, it was a bit quiet. But
simple, turn their volume up.
I heard it clear as a bell. No, really, but so it's pretty much just saying what we've said already. You know, that's a decent side. He's not going to put out a rubbish side against anybody. And as I said, there's goals in that team. You know, certainly goals in that team, and there should be more than enough there to take care of Ayr United, even if they play at their best. For me.
Well, we've had Kent, who was arguably the man of the match the last home game. Morelos, arguably man of the match. Sorry, the last against Dundee. Morelos, who was arguably man of the match against St Johnstone. Both forward players. We've been crying out to see Middleton, see how he performs with a piece. Looks effective, simple, intelligent player who keeps his game simple, knows what he's good at, makes chances for the team. Ajira's shown glimpses, and so's Doran's. And then obviously we get the full-backs helping getting forward to support the wings. There's goals in the team, the set up for goals. Morelos could his confidence. If he could just get a couple, mate, I just think it would keep him going on a springboard.
Oh, I think so. I think Morelos is quite clearly he's a confidence player, so he needs to keep the goals flowing in order to play at his best. I think if it's not going well for him, he seems to let it over, get on top of him, and he seems to struggle. So I certainly want to see some goals for Alfredo tonight. If he could bang in a hat trick for his sake, it would be absolutely great. You know, it would really put him back on another level. I don't think we're going to get as much from the fullbacks going forward as we would do normally, because obviously, Flanagan and Halliday, not so much Halliday because he can get forward and put in decent balls, but certainly Flanagan, it's not so much his sort of thing. He's more a traditional fullback for me. So, but it does allow, if they're going to stay put, then it does allow the midfield to commit perhaps slightly further forward. And I think we'll be playing quite a high line anyway, to try and press them and just force them into mistakes that we can capitalise on.
All right. Are you surprised that Andy Halliday's into so much football? I know I am.
I'm surprised at how much he's improved. I think Steven Gerrard has given him quite a lot of support I think when we qualified in Europe, Andy Halliday was one of the first players Gerrard sort of seeked out, and I don't know if Andy Halliday's given him, because he's been saying he's sort of like a captain in the dressing room. So I don't know if there's sort of some sort of relationship building there. But he was the guy that Gerrard seemed to look for first, and gave him a big well done, and he seems to have done wonders for Halliday's confidence, which must have taken a big knock, being told you're not part of my plans and being farmed out to, was it Azerbaijan or somewhere weird like that?
I think he was out scouting for Baku for us. I think Andy was ahead of the game. That's what I think he was doing.
But how much longer, and how much longer Andy will last? To say, because Gerrard's going to be continually looking to bring in better players, and will Andy just last the end of his present contract? I don't know. We'll find out in the fullness of time.
So you're going for 4-0, mate?
I'm going for 4-0. I reckon that's a pretty sort of sensible and comfortable win.
All right, I'm going to go for us to score the same amount of goals as we did on Sunday. There you are.
Oh, you're going to go for 5, are you?
Yep, and hopefully Fods can keep a clean sheet.
I hope so. Certainly hope so. As I said, I can see us playing quite a high line. I don't know what sort of pace is in this Ayr United side. That's the only thing that we might get caught out with if we get too carried away attacking. But I can see, as I said, the fullback staying put and keeping the back door locked for me.
Yep, I'm looking forward to seeing the big centre half play again. I thought he had a good game last week after his unfortunate start. I'm not blaming him for him, but it was just one of these things.
He's pretty highly rated, isn't he? I've been reading some things about him down south, and that Forest, a lot of people are very unhappy that he went out on loan. So I think certainly if that's an example, and to come in for your debut for Rangers against Villarreal away in the Europa Cup, that was a big ask, and the lad dealt with it, no problem at all.
He got better in the game, mate. Mr. Worrell did. He got better as the game went on.
Well, that's got to knock his confidence, that sort of mess up at the start, didn't it? It's got to knock a young lad's confidence a wee bit. You're not going to just rub that off in 5 minutes. That comes with experience, and he's only, 21?
Correct. Ages with ourselves, mate. Ages with ourselves.
Oh, I wish. But I can see us, as I said, I can see us getting 4. I said they're going to come here, and I think they're going to do pretty much what everybody was. Ian McCall's side, I can't see parking the bus in the traditional sense of the word, but I think they'll try and hit us on the counter-attack. I think that would make sense for any team coming and playing against this Rangers side, wouldn't you?
How would I set up if I was them? I think I would go. I think I would go 4-5-1, mate. If I was the opposition, mate. Yeah,
I would as well. And I've three good solid, three good hard grafted tacklers in the middle of the park, and a bit of pace up top, wide and up top.
So I would set my team up. But look, if we play, we win. So, Blue Shadow, thanks for joining us. Hopefully, see you after the ball game. Hope you enjoy it. I hope you get 4. I hope 4 we get the minimum of 4. But as long as we win the tie, that's the most important thing. Yeah?
Getting through to the semi-final, getting the lads up to Hampden, it'll give them another boost. That's what it's all about, isn't it, for me? And I hope the Bears have a great night tonight.
Yeah, we'll be back approximately 15 minutes after the final whistle. Just we're interested. There is potential for extra time tonight. Hope the Bears go through in 90 minutes, but it could happen. We'll be back then. Thanks for joining us here in Rangers Radio. Enjoy the game. Come on now, Rangers.
Rangers top division 1. Celtic's team are on the bomb. For our Sterling's down below, and Red Rovers soon must go. So the Rangers of great fame Johnstone.